Hi, I'm Michael Newrock, and welcome to today's market analysis video for December 5, 2016. There's a couple of good opportunities this week. I'm going to go through them as quickly as I can. We're in a bit of a extreme heat wave here in Australia, hitting around 36 degrees Celsius. It's about 96 Fahrenheit. So bear with me, but I'll do my best to get through this as coherently as possible. Look, before we get into it, I just want to go over the indicators that we use on the charts. As a premium member, you have access to all of these. Please download them if you haven't already. Go through the training guides and apply them to your trading, because that's the only way that you're going to get a difference in your trading results. Of course, we provide signals, but the indicators are going to by far provide you with the best opportunities at exactly the right time that you want to be trading. So we have three indicators on the charts. We have the big arrows here, which is from the trend catcher indicator, and it gives us an idea of the beginning of a trend. Here we've got a sell, and we've got two buys here, sell and a buy. So it's gone a little supported at this level. We'll get into that in a moment. But they're the big arrows. The price slip indicator are the small arrows, and you should consider using them, particularly when they're in conjunction with the trend. So in this case, the trend is down, and right here you've got a beautiful reversal, and here again you've got a double price flip. So they're from the price flip indicator. And then finally we have these horizontal lines that you see, which are macro levels, and they're customized to every individual pair. You'll see the presets in the members area, they provide us with lines in the sand, if you will, of what the institutions are looking at. These levels do not change very often. They're every few months kind of thing, because they're based on the weekly and the monthly time frames. But if you've been using them or watching these analysis videos over the last few weeks, you'll see that they're extremely accurate of where price tends to find support or find resistance, and gives us a good indicator of how we should trade. Of course, the best way is to use these in conjunction. The template's available in the Elite Trader video in the members area if you haven't downloaded that already. So anyway, let's get on with it. We'll start with gold, as we always do. So I typically go through the time frames to give us an idea of what we should be doing for the current week. So with that, on the weekly time frame, let's move that to the side here. You can see where we've been in a very much a downward trend for the last 7 or 8 weeks. We had this upward correction that we thought was going to happen because of this big, initial drop. And then since then we had, well, this price flip was a nice one, although it probably would have got spiked out. There's a lot of volatility. This is the time of, around this time is, all that pre, during and post election period is what we're seeing in the last few weeks here. So downward on the weekly, downward on the daily. We have found some initial support, and then on the 4-hour, it's pretty much sideways. Again, we're looking at this 1168.31 level, which is where the market decided to put the brakes on these recent falls. At this stage, we're looking at a possible range-bound trade between 1168 and 1191, but the pressure is to the downside. So where there's an opportunity to go short, perhaps on a shorter-term time frame, like the 1 hour or the 15-minute, at appropriate times, that could be a good opportunity. But currently, the risk is to the downside, and what I'm looking at is seeing if price drifts up to that 1191 level, and then seeing if it can be shorted at that point. Okay, euro, on the weekly it is down, on the daily it is down, and on the 4-hour we're just about to start a new trend catcher trade. That's when the moving averages cross over the fast over the slow. So overall downward on the euro. Now, I should add, we're already at quite low levels here on this time frame, so it's important to, look at these trades as a more short-term kind of thing and scalping the market wherever you can. It could certainly go, further down. Like the eurozone is a mess and has been a mess in a variety of ways, economically, politically, and now we currently have a few issues that are happening in Europe, from the Italian current referendum that's going to dictate how things go to an extent. We've got banks in trouble. We've got mass exodus from Syria. We've got the euro being in a slump for the last few years since the housing bubble crash, and of course more recently we've got Brexit. So you add all of those things up and more, and the eurozone is a bit of a basket case right now. So we're looking at, just a recap, without digesting. Weekly down, daily down, and 4-hour just about to come into a new downward trend if it closes at this level. Of course, we do have the support level, so watch that if you are going to short it. Just watch that it doesn't find support if you're selling it. If it does, the idea would be that the logical trading decision would be to lock in your profits or to move your trade to break even as soon as you possibly can. Okay, pound was a bit of an interesting one. It's had a recent upward rally, but overall weekly it's down still. We have had this weekly upswing, but it may be reaching its point of fatigue. So 128 would be the level to look at right now. Daily it's up, but it's not very strongly up, and it's had this correction. As soon as it's had this rally, it's gone down, rallied down, slipped below here, and then it's rallied again, but not really strong. So again, 128 on the daily, and on the 4-hour, you can see here, good opportunity to take a macro level or a price flip, short trade, or a combination of the two. The only important thing is to make sure that it closes below the macro level, and confidently below, ideally with a combined with a price flip, because sometimes the market will overstretch to where it's going to finally find, in this case, resistance. So you want to be aware of that. Okay, euro pound. This is an interesting one because in the weekly you can see here that although we've been bullish for quite some time, this is the first week, if it closes at the end of this week at its current level or lower, or even a little bit higher, it's not going to really make any difference. It is going to technically close in a new downward weekly trend. So that's of significance, because the last time it's changed trend direction is around November of last year. So very interesting to see there. On the daily, we're down, and on the 4-hour, we're down as well. So good opportunity. Maybe see if it drifts up to 84 and then short it. Would be what I would think a lot of traders would be looking at. The possibility of doing. Okay, pound Swiss is typically a mirror reversal of euro pound. So on the weekly, it's been down, and it hasn't changed over to a daily yet, but it's looking pretty strong, right? You can see that another week, maybe by the end of next week, it'll be technically in an upward trade or trend for the first time again since around November of last year. Again, they're very, very mirror images of each other, the euro pound and the pound Swiss. And when you think about it, of course, the Swiss is within, smack bang in Europe, so it kind of makes sense. Daily up and 4-hour up. So, right now the risk is to the upside. Perhaps if it drifts down to 126.47 would be a good opportunity to go long on the the pound Swiss. Okay, Aussie. Let's have a look. On the weekly, it's technically down, and but it's not a real strong looking one. It was really range bound between 75.33 and 76.76 for quite some time. A couple of weeks back, we had a big fall, and it's just been hovering around that area. Daily is down, and 4 hour, it's ambiguous. Technically up, but it's technically already failing. So, possibly 75.33. If it drifts up to that point, maybe a really good opportunity to short it. If it flies through 75.33, then don't stand in front of a locomotive. You've got to make sure that it closes below that 75.33 level, and ideally with a price slip in combination with, or a nice strong move back down as soon as it or soon after hitting that level. Otherwise, maybe look for in a shorter time frame, the 1 hour or the 15, and look at possibly shorting that. Again, this is one that I'd be looking at scalping only because it is in a bit of flux. Kiwi, same deal there. Let's have a look. If we look at the weekly, similar to the Aussie, it is technically down, but it's not a strong down. Daily, really conflicting there. We've had the crossover, but it's not the type of crossover that you want to look at it as a valid, good trade, because one moving average is moving up and the other one's moving down. So it's nicer to see it when you've got a crossover and the other moving average isn't so seriously down, a slow moving average. So 4 hour, the risk is again, it's conflicting, but to the downside, just like the Aussie. Maybe if it comes back up to 71.16, then could be an opportunity to short it. And I would think a lot of traders would be looking at the market is going to retest 69.78, which it tested back here. This is an example. You've probably seen a few other examples throughout the course of this video, but these macro levels haven't been touched in like 6 months, but they are just killer accurate. So watch out for them, please. Aussie Kiwi. Okay, on the weekly, conflicting. It's possibly going to go into a downward at the end of the week. Daily, it is downward, and 4 hour, it is drifting up for sure with this nice big move here. Look, if it stays above 10492, then it could be going long. If it goes below, then it could be going short. The tricky thing right now is that both the Aussie and the Kiwi pegged against the US dollar are fairly in a state of flux. So Aussie Kiwi is probably one I'd stick on the sidelines for. Okay, dollar CAD. This is interesting. It's up on the weekly, but not strongly up. It's been just moving slowly up until last week where it crashed. Daily, it's had this new daily downward trend. Thanks to last week. So it just wasn't the right time. I guess it was overbought for it to go higher. And on the 4 hour, we've seen it touch the or just go a little beyond the 132.60 macro level. So it's we really have to look at the monthly. This is the monthly chart here to get more of an indication of what the hell's going on with the dollar CAD. And when you look at the monthly, you can see that, it's going up overall since 2012, right? So, I think a lot of traders would be looking at possibly going long on the US dollar. There's a lot of things we're still in that honeymoon period from the post-election with Trump. The markets liked some of the things that he was saying in regards to spending, infrastructure, tax cuts. So there's a few things there that the market took on, and the dollar surged. So we've had a bit of a pullback, but I think now we could possibly have a resumption of that rally. We've got other things in play in December. We've got the US Fed coming out, and the likelihood is that they will increase rates again. The last time they did that was December last year. Okay, so same month, and they've been hinting at it for quite some time. So if they don't, and really it's at super low rates anyway, then they may suffer a little bit of loss of credibility. But there's other things in play as well. We've had unemployment that just come out last week at 4.6%, which is the lowest in quite some time. So there's a lot of factors at play now to say yes, put the rates up. Now, if the rates go up, that's going to be great for the US dollar as far as going up, and then we're going to see weaker currencies going down. So that's in line with, technically what we're looking at today. So here's a good opportunity. Close of bar in 3 minutes. That will be confirmed. You could have taken it at the beginning of the bar as an emerging upward trend. Or waited for the bar or candle to close, which is about to happen now. So so far today, this is the best one that we've looked at. Dollar CAD long. Look at protecting yourself well before the 134.57 macro level. If it busts through, then put your party hat on. It could be a good opportunity for it to go even higher. Now, by that time, we could see a reversal in this 4-hour trend, and you would have got in early on this 1-hour time frame. Dollar Swiss, we've been long on this as well. It had a bit of a correction last week, but it's looking at, after it came down, retested this low, which coincidentally was at this 10074 macro level. That showed support, here as well. Let's look at it on the weekly. We're long. On the daily, we're long or up, and on the 4-hour, it's looking like it's about to go up. 1 hour has already happened. Okay, so this is a nice price flip just over there. Really picked that reversal. But anyway, dollar Swiss. I think a lot of traders would agree that this is potentially going to go upward, and 103.28 is the target that we're looking at for the macro level anyway. Obviously, lock in your profits way before then, but that's a good guideline to go by. Dollar yen. Okay, I'm going to run through these yen trades because time is running out, but they're all very, very similar. And if we do see strength in the US dollar now, then you're going to see pressure on the yen, and that's going to allow other currencies that are like the pound, for example, right now that is rallying to go upward. Most of them, if not all, will benefit. But if they're struggling against the US dollar, then they're not going to move up quite as much. So dollar yen for weeks now. If you've been following these analysis videos, I've been saying that we're looking at possible change in trend. Last time it was down back again in November 2015. It's funny how things all work in together, but no coincidence. It's just the market at work. Anyway, dollar yen weekly up, strongly up, daily up, and 4-hour. This has come out because at the open of bar, but we'll see where it closes. So it's really technically not confirmed until the bar closes. And the way to do that will be to change your time frames and then change back to the 4-hour and see where it's at. Obviously, if the price is up here, it's going to pull that moving average, and we can expect to see some more upward movement. The 1 hour would be possibly a good time frame to look at this. 15 minutes already happened, and let's have a look at the 30. 30, I kind of stay away from, but it's fine. So 114.87 is what you want to make sure you've locked in some profits before. On any upward trade. Okay, euro yen, it's having a bit of a struggle. So, we're seeing a new 4-hour much more strongly than we did in the US dollar form here. But again, we've seen support at this 119.80. So maybe wait for the dust to settle, the euro to find a little bit of support. When it does, if it does, then this could be a good opportunity as well, because on the weekly it's up. It's interesting actually to note that we had a weekly price flip at the close of this last week. So again, the euro isn't the primo yen cross to be trading long at the moment, but it may still eventuate that way nevertheless. So possibly it's not the right time now, but you know, wait for a long opportunity, and that could be a good a good cross good pair to go up on. Um, okay, pound yen. Also, weekly is up, daily is up, 4 hour is up. You know, it's finding resistance at this 144.80. I mean, I think most traders will look at the height or where the price is on the chart, say on the 4 hour, and agree that it is a little overbought. I mean, all these yen crosses are so. If you see strong movement, then you might be able to catch that ride. Otherwise, wait for a correction, and the logical choice there would be um, to see if it drifts back down to 140.01, and if so, then if a setup forms, it could be a good opportunity to go long. Okay, Aussie yen, weekly up, daily up, and 4 hour sideways. No trade at the moment, but if you do see one, just like the others, 83.55, maybe it could drop to 82 or thereabouts if the Aussie has some struggle this week, and then when it all settles down, it could be a good opportunity again to go up. But I wouldn't be shorting it. The risk still is to the upside because of the strength of the weekly and the daily. Okay, new Kiwi yen, weekly up, daily up, and 4 hour same as the Aussie. You watch for an opportunity there. Swiss yen, you can see the patterns are almost identical. Weekly up, daily up, and about to go into a downward trend possibly. So we'll see how it reacts at 111.22. Other than that, 109.40. CAD yen, weekly up, daily up, and it's not as to the downside as a couple of the other pairs that we've seen today, but and the CAD's holding its own because dollar CAD's going down. Once you see dollar CAD going up, then that's going to put more pressure on CAD yen. So a bit of a tricky one, but overall up. Wait for an opportunity if one exists or provides itself. Okay, now we've got a real opportunity here. Euro Aussie, it's an emerging downtrend already. Let's have a look. Weekly down, daily down, and 4 hour down. So this is like it's down on the weekly, down on the daily, down on the 4 hour. I think most traders would agree that this could be a good opportunity. It's happening right now. Close of candle on my charts is 3 hours away. Of course, on the 4 hour, depending on the broker and their settings too, what their server settings are. Your charts may look a little different, but it all averages out. So here we're looking at a possible move down towards 140.51. So there's 150 pips in there if you were to jump on. But obviously there could be some risk to moving up. But overall weekly down, daily down, and 4 hour down, and looks like a good trade. Pound Aussie though, a little different. Weekly is down, but it's in an upward swing on the weekly. Daily is up, and 4 hour is up. So little tricky, for my liking. I'd be looking at the Euro Aussie on a downward trend opportunity. And similar, Euro Kiwi, we've got weekly down, daily down, 4 hour down. Looks like a good trade. It's already had a bit of a retracement. There's a couple of hours still in this candle, so anything can happen in 2 hours, well, 3 hours on my charts. So best to wait, because I could finish this video, upload it, and by then it could be above 149.67. If it stays down around where it's at, then it could be a good opportunity to short, right? Pound Kiwi, not so. Like the pound Aussie, it's a bit more conflicting. Weekly's down, but in an upward swing. Daily's up, and 4 hourly is up. So, I would be waiting possibly to see if it comes back down to that under 177.07, if the pound finds weakness again. I think, again, many traders would agree that what we've seen with the pound rally is probably more temporary than anything else. There's still a long and winding road to go as far as post-Brexit. And finally, Aussie CAD weekly, it's been up, but it's been in a heavy downswing. So daily's been down and 4 hours down. So I would see how it reacts at 99.37, and even if it went up to 100.48, then could be a good opportunity to short. But it's a bit of a tricky one right now. There's easier opportunities in the market right now. EuroCAD and the pound CAD, they're very well. Let's have a real quick look. Weekly down and a new down as well, which is pretty interesting. Daily down and 4 hour down. So actually, if you were going to short anything, it'd probably be a better choice to go EuroCAD rather than the Aussie CAD because it's just so more unidirectional. And pound CAD, we've got weekly down, up on the daily and up in the 4 hour, so a bit of a tricky one. So if you're going to take any trade, then possibly the EuroCAD, but not at its levels. It's a little oversold. Again, there's probably easier opportunities in the marketplace. Let's have a look at that dollar CAD that we were looking at before. Market or the candle has closed. It's confirmed, looking like a good opportunity. In fact, it might be a signal that we issue. Alrighty, there you have it. Now we've got a couple of really exciting things coming out in the next 2 weeks, hopefully. I've got some system trading workshops that I'm delighted to be able to provide for you. You can trade along, or you can just get the template that I'm going to provide for free. It's really, really cool. You're just going to, I'm sure, be extremely excited when you see it. I'm really excited about it. It's been years in the making, so I look forward to sharing that with you guys. Other than that, there's a couple of good opportunities here. Under this video, you'll see also the summary of what I've been talking about. Thanks for your time today. Until next time, good trading, live well, and I'll see you soon.